Hi, I'm Michael, and this is California. And as we start this week, over the weekend, there has been more bickering and finger-pointing out of the White House and Congress than a 4-hour family road trip. And although all three sides can agree on some aspects of the stimulus package, so that would be things like stimulus checks, enhanced unemployment benefits, and eviction protections, it's all the other issues that are orbiting around them that they can't still agree on. These are causing things to stall. So we start this week with the status of the stimulus package negotiation, where the House, the Senate, and the White House stand on getting the next stimulus package passed. Now this is your 5-minute daily dose, so let's make this quick. But before we do that, if you like this information, if you find it interesting, if you find it helpful, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And that way you can get updates when our newest and most informative videos become available. So first, let's talk about the House. Nancy Pelosi spent the weekend lambasting President Trump and the Senate Republicans for their unwillingness to meet House demands in the continuing stimulus package negotiation. On CNN's State of the Union, Pelosi said more than 4 million have been added to the infection list because we paused. And she concluded that over 80,000 more people died because they paused, squarely laying the blame for increased infections and deaths on the shoulders of the White House and Senate Republicans. But it seems fair to say that all parties involved are responsible for this tragedy that our country is going through right now, although some are more to blame than others. But when it comes down to it, either way, the negotiations seem to be devolving into schoolyard levels. When Pelosi commented on the statements by Marianne Trump, Trump's sister, expressing her distaste for the president's previous actions. But it's these kinds of personal attacks that are undoubtedly tasteless, especially coming from one of the most powerful people in Congress, and definitely they are not helping the prospects of a negotiated deal coming to pass. On the other side of the aisle, the Senate is pointing the dirty end of the stick back in the direction of the House and Nancy Pelosi. Mitch McConnell had said that the Speaker, Pelosi, and Democrats have spent weeks ignoring the urgent needs of American workers and family, but they rushed back to Washington to insist on the overblown conspiracy theory about the United States Postal Service convincing them their own jobs might be in jeopardy. End quote. Dismissing the urgency that the House has showed when passing the most recent USPS bill over the weekend. The bill was meant to provide $25 billion in funding to the USPS in order to fund their day-to-day operations as well as vote-by-mail initiatives for this year's election season. There was some discussion last week if the bill would include reauthorization for the additional $600 enhanced unemployment benefits or stimulus checks, but neither provisions were included in the final bill this weekend. The bill passed with 257 Democrats voting for and 150 Republicans voting against in the House. Earlier last week, McConnell had previously said that this standalone postal bill would be unlikely to get passed in the Senate, in addition to the fact that Trump has threatened to veto it if the bill does actually pass. Lastly, the White House has chimed in with its own perspective about how the negotiations are going and who is to blame for their stalling. On Saturday, the White House Chief of Staff, Mark Meadows, attempted to meet with Nancy Pelosi at her office on Capitol Hill. He said that he was attempting to discuss the prospects of moving forward with the next stimulus package. When he arrived at the Speaker's office, he found that Pelosi was not there. Was there an actual meeting ever scheduled? It's not clear. But again, this is just another instance of pettiness that the stimulus package has devolved into. Meadows and the GOP writ large have been trying to pressure the Democratic House members to pass a smaller, separate stimulus bill that would include all the sweets that people can agree on, things like enhanced unemployment benefits and stimulus checks, but without having to eat any of their vegetables first. So things like local and state funding, money for SNAP and food benefits, and additional money for frontline workers. But Pelosi and the Democrats have continually refused to budge on these key issues because they represent a level of support that the Democrats believe is necessary until the country can get back on its feet. So overall, it seems like this week we pick up right where we left off last week. Really no better, but really no worse. My suspicion is that both sides are still happy to continue to stall because each believes that the pressure that is mounting on all sides will eventually lead one side to crumble. Pelosi seems to have the House back in step, and the White House and the Senate equally seem on board with waiting out this dispute. But the one thing that they all are ignoring is the suffering, suspicion, and uncertainty that all of this is causing on our friends, our neighbors, and the American people. And at this rate we're going, we may have to wait and see who wins the election before there's really any substantive help on the way. By then, hopefully, it's not too late. This has been your 5-minute daily dose, and I hope that you found it interesting or helpful or at least useful. And if you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe. That way you can get updates when our newest and most informative videos become available. Also, we here at Carelifornia, we know health insurance. So if you have any questions about your health insurance, leave those down below. We'll be happy to make a new video and a new post as soon as possible. Now, other than that, I'm Michael, and this is Carelifornia, wishing you a happy, healthy day.